Trav from Australian Car Audio. Today we're actually here in my shed, my workshop. We've got Steve, the boss's big rig here. This has had a few different lives. It's had many different systems and components in it. Today we're going to give it the once over and I think the final upgrade it's ever going to have. We're fitting our new 10-inch Stinger in-dash monitor. We're going to go with an AudioControl 5-channel DSP amplifier, AudioControl component speakers in the front, coaxials in the rear and a sub. We've got Bentley giving us a chop out. We're also going to fit some of the Stinger and Light and rock lights into the wheel arches and under the seats. Let's see how this goes. Alright, we're going to fit the first of the front 6x9 mid-bass drivers into the Isuzu. I've just gone through and done a little bit of extra sound deadening. It's been deadened in the past. It's had, as we said, it's had a couple of different systems, but I've just gone above and beyond just because we're a little bit particular. I've mounted the mid-bass crossover, so what we've got here is our speaker wire will come in to here. The crossover components in here will then low pass the 6x9, so all the treble will be directed to the tweeter and all the mid and low pass frequencies will go down into the mid bass driver. Then we'll mount up the speaker spacer. I've already put a foam gasket on the back here, so when it mounts up to the door there, it'll be nice and solid and airtight. It's important to get them airtight to get as much mid bass out of the speaker as possible. We're going to be using some of our roadkill fast rings as well, which you'll see me install at the same time. So here we go. Alright, so we've got the first door done. As you can see, we've added some additional sound deadener. We fitted the new AudioControl Pacific Northwest 6x9 mid-bass driver. We fitted the little passive 12 dB crossover. We've also used our Metro Universal 6x9 speaker spacers. They're fantastic. They'll cover you for just about every application. We've also used our Toyota pigtail leads because that's what connector this car uses. That way there's plug and play. We haven't cut or damaged any of the wiring that exists within the vehicle. We've also used a bit of our Stinger Australia 16 gauge blue speaker wire there. I tinned the ends of the speaker wire. That means I've put a little bit of solder on there so all the wires don't fray and fall apart. You can also use ferrules. I've just found in these tight little connectors, the solder works a little bit quicker and a little bit easier than the ferrules. I love ferrules, they're on the amplifier. Just here I used the solder. We've also used the fast ring. What we've got there, it's an open cell foam. We've put the backwave absorption pad in behind the speaker. That was one of the first things we've done. Then we've mounted the spacer, the speaker, and we've put in the over ring. This ring here, whilst it looks massive and it hangs off the speaker, that's going to aid in sealing that speaker off to the back of the door trim. When we put the door trim on a bit later on, that speaker now will seal up against here, and all the energy or all the sound that's going to come off the front of that speaker is going to be concentrated into coming through the grille and into the cabin, as opposed to filling all this area here with really nice sound. We've just installed the tweeter to go along with the mid-bass driver. Up here we've got our little 12 dB per octave high-pass filter, and we've mounted our P&W1 tweeter in the dash there. So what we've got is this little 12 dB per octave crossover. This is very similar to the mid-bass driver crossover. However, this one's for tweeters. So what that actually does is take the high frequencies and say go through and come out the tweeter, and the low frequencies it cuts off. It just makes the tweeter sound so much better and more efficient. Now what's really cool with these AudioControl P&W splits is you've got a physical switch to adjust the attenuation of the tweeter. That's the level. So the tweeter can be played at 0 dB, or if you're mounting them high in a car like we are here, we'll set these guys up to run at -3 dB because they're going to be closer to you than the speakers in the door. Now with the tweeters themselves, they're a soft dome, come in a really nice aluminium housing. I've just made up some brackets here using backstrap. I put some heat shrink over it just to make them nice and OEM looking, and then we've screwed those into the OEM locations because this car's all about being factory because it's Steve's pride and joy. Keep going with us and we'll see more of this installation as it comes to unveil.
Hi guys, I'm Bentley. Today we're working on our boss's MUX. We're putting in some Enlightened rock lights at the moment. We're going to put 4 in each arch well of the car, and then 4 also on the sides at the rear and front. We're at the moment taking out the wheel arches. We're going to attach our lights as flushly as possible, make them look nice and neat. We're going to run the wires along the wheel arch, put them through a grommet, run them inside the cab of the car, attach them up to the head unit and a power supply at the battery, and we're going to see how it looks.
Travy's done himself a mischief, the old installer's band-aid. Probably want to put a real one on. Alright, here we are at the amplifier, guys, the heart of the system. So we've got our source unit, feeds its signal down into the amplifier and then out to the front and rear speakers and the subwoofer. This particular installation we've gone with a 5-channel. It's not a huge car, well it is a big car, but we don't have a lot of room to mount things, so we've gone with a 5-channel. That gets us the ability to amplify all the speakers and the sub in one amplifier. We've actually gone for the DSP version here, so this is the D 5.1300 from AudioControl. What that means is there's no analog controls on the amplifier itself, it's all done through PC software. So we've got really high-end levels of tuning. We've got time alignment, digital crossovers, level adjustments, phase adjustments. We're going to really be able to get the absolute most out of this system right here. Now what we've gone with too is a nice simple under the seat installation. We've cut a 6mm MDF board there, mounted that under the carpet. We've screwed the amplifier down into that so that there's no holes on the underside of the vehicle. We did a test fit before we actually put it in to make sure that the seat will still fit in. Everything clears, nothing catches. It's going to be nice and out of the way. You can see there that the floor mats don't interrupt with it. It's just going to be a really easy way to go about it. We've run 3 pairs of RCAs down there. We've got our 4000 series Stinger They were in the vehicle previously. We've also got a audio control T-harness. So that guy there is running our speaker level out wires. That runs back up in behind the dash and into behind the radio there, and then runs all the factory wiring back through the speakers. It's going to be a pretty cool installation. We've got our 12 gauge Stinger Australia speaker wire there. We've used our ferrules on our power and ground and our trigger wire, and again on our 12 gauge speaker wire. So done everything we can to make this system as absolutely best as possible and to get as much power out of that amp as we can. So what we've got there, as you can see guys, we've got our fuses, we've got our power and ground connection. As I said earlier, we've used our Ranger ferrules on both the 4 gauge input and output for ground. We've got our RCAs, we've got our speaker level input this amplifier has. We're not using this particular situation. We've got our speaker level output for the speakers, and we've got our 12 gauge large speaker wire output for our subwoofer.
So far, we have taken out our wheel arches, we've lined up our Enlight rock lights and attached them. We have securely and neatly fastened down our wires down the wheel arch, wire going to the rear wheel arch to connect to the other rock light, and one cable going straight through the body of the car to connect to the head unit and the power module. We're going to repeat this on all 4 wheel arches, stick them all back in, and then see how amazing it looks.
All right, Bentley and I have had a red hot crack at this today. We've done more than I actually thought, not as much as I was hoping, but more than I thought. He's got the bulk of the rock lights mounted under the vehicle, ran the wiring front to back. We've got the wiring in the cabin now for the rock lights. I've just about got all the speakers knocked out. We've got the amplifier in. So I think I'm going to have to come back at it again tomorrow. I'm going to give the young man a request for some help too, and we'll get back into it. And the next you'll see this, she'll all be finished. We'll be in the warehouse and we can give you a rundown. Alright, here we are in Steve's driving seat. We've got our new Horizon 10-inch screen in there. We've got our audio control speakers and amplifiers. We've got our front, rear and trailer camera all connected up. They're all through Echo Master. And we've got our IoT phone holder. Alright, now if you want to like or subscribe to our channel, you're going to see further videos on this. We'll go into more detail on the screen. We'll go into a little bit more detail on the speakers, a little bit more on the installation. And if you've got any questions, be sure to reach out to us. From now on in, it's up to Steve and his Talkback Radio.